There she is.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Well, pretty good. How about you?
Oh, pretty good. Like your dad's online. Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah, he's so proud of you. He's been talking about you. He said you're off the chain. Is that true?
Yeah, I guess.
You guess? Oh man, you gotta say yes. So I'm not gonna
Yes.
take all right. I'm not gonna take too much of you guys' time today. Just want to get to know you a little bit. So your dad was saying that you're going to go to Scanner.
The
SCAD,
scat
but the
in
SCAD, the
Savannah.
SCAD,
Yeah.
SCAD. So what school are you attending right now?
It's called Parkview High School.
Okay, wow, that's a great school because you guys got a great football team. Yeah, you guys got a great football team. So do you know what your grade point average is?
Yes, I thought it was a 3.0, but because of freshman year, it's at a 2.8. And so it's an 82 average. But yeah, I think freshman year and sophomore year, um, I had some C's, and then my junior year and this year, it's gotten higher. But yeah,
Yeah, that happens a lot with our young people. You know, they that transition from middle school to high school can be a challenge, and I see that a lot. That first year, and then sometimes that even happens in college. Not sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. Um, so, what are you taking any AP courses?
yes, I'm taking AP psychology, and I'm taking German 4, but I can transition to AP German next semester. I'm still not sure if I am, but I am taking AP psychology.
Okay, speak some German to me.
Hello, meine heißt ist Jada.
No, you gotta say some more. Give me a sentence. Give me a sentence.
Ich
say I love you, Dad. Say I love you, Dad.
Ich liebe dich.
Oh man, that's great. I'm messing with you. My both my kids. So I have one daughter that actually graduated from Georgia Tech. She's my oldest one, but when she was in high school, she took German. So that's why I was messing with you. And then my youngest one just graduated back in December from Georgia Tech, and she went to Shamley. She learned German, so that's why I was seeing if you really knew it. And then also I had an uncle that actually moved over to Germany. He married a German woman and actually moved over there. So I got he had some additional kids over there. So I got two cousins that's all actually live in Germany. So that's great. So besides psychology, have you taken any other AP courses like previous years?
No, this is my first year. Because I'm not like I didn't go to the middle school that is connected to Parkview. I transferred a lot of, I think my transcript or whatever, it didn't send at the right time. And then by the time I was a sophomore, I wasn't really able to transition yet because I started off in CP and I would have to do honors, then AP. And for English, I would have been in AP, okay. But my teacher, she didn't sign me up to honors my sophomore year. So I would have been there already, but yeah. But this is my first year.
Okay. Are you taking any college classes or have you taken any college classes?
No, I was going to, but I don't remember exactly what happened. But yeah, no, I haven't.
She's taking a course from NYU now that she get college credit for.
Well, no, I'm that was for preparation. I'm not sure if I get the college credit.
That's what they told us.
Something different.
What was that?
It's a screenwriting course from the NYU, the film program.
Okay, yeah, that's a great school. That's a great school.
Yeah, they told us, and I'll get the details, but they told us that she would get college credit because we paid $7,000 for that course.
Okay, how much?
$7,000.
Wow. How long was it?
She's still taking
I'm
it.
still in it. Yeah.
Okay. How long is it supposed to be? How long is the program? Is it?
September till December.
Okay. Okay. So I need you, and you got my email address because I sent it over with the invite. I need you, you should be able to download your transcript.
Mm-hmm, I have it.
Yeah, so send me your transcripts. I just want to review that from the beginning of high school all the way to now. So what did your dad tell you about me?
Oh, he said you help with preparation for scholarships in colleges for younger people.
Yeah.
And you met Jada before, but you probably don't. Y'all met each other
at the golf course.
Yeah, when we did the tournament for y'all, but you probably don't remember. She probably don't remember you, but y'all met before.
Okay. Well, so I don't know if you had a chance to look at any of the information I sent over to your dad. Have you had a chance to look at any of that?
No, I haven't.
So one is like last year, I had a student. He was a premier student athlete for soccer, and they contacted me just probably around this time, and they were, his family, and him parents were panicking because, they were not, the doors was closed for on the athletic side at the colleges because of the pandemic. So they were having difficulty getting in contact with the coaches. So my oldest daughter, I say graduated from Georgia Tech, but she ran track. And then my youngest daughter, she played basketball on the UGA basketball team. So very, very familiar with how the system works. Matter of fact, I actually spoke at Georgia Tech to the parents for the track team a few years ago. So anyway, so I got them in the door to talk to various colleges, coaches, and also look at on the academic side. So we're looking at both academically and also athletics. And just in summary, he ended up getting accepted to over 30 schools and actually ended up with about $1 million in scholarships. Then I had another young lady that last year, I think she probably contacted me. Her parents contacted me around this time too, maybe a little bit earlier. I can't remember exactly, but anyway, she got her into Kennesaw and basically, got her a full ride to Kennesaw. Again, it was difficult to do because again, of the pandemic, just a lot of things changed for the pandemic. I think things have settled down a little bit with the colleges. So I think, and you're already accepted to SCAD. So that makes a big difference. Let me ask you this. So this is, and those are just two recent examples. So I've got another student that got a $200,000 scholarship a few years ago to a school. I can't think of the name. It's a private school, Ivy League school up in the New York area. So he got a $200,000 scholarship. And then we've had other ones that I've had. So college planning, I've done college fairs. Matter of fact, I organized the biggest college fair for Shanley High School in the history of the school. Brought in a lot of colleges, brought in a lot of speakers. I work like I said, I got a lot of students that's actually have graduated. So one of the things I always ask students when I begin to work with them, one is, do you want to graduate from college with debt, significant debt, because that can happen. You want to graduate from college with a little debt, or do you want to graduate from college on no money, or do you want to graduate from college with money in your pocket? Which one is your preference?
Money in my pocket.
Money in your pocket. So that's good. So to give you a good example, my oldest daughter graduated from Georgia Tech. She graduated money in her pocket. A few $1,000s that when she graduated. My youngest daughter, I don't know exactly, but I'm projecting, based upon a little bit that I do know, she probably graduated probably with about $25,000 in her pocket. One of the reasons why that happened to her is one that the basketball team is treated a little bit different than the track team. They get higher stipends for girls basketball. So basically, she put all that money in the bank, and also because she got the Hope Scholarship, or actually got the Zell Miller Scholarship, where my oldest one got the Hope, where my youngest one got the Zell Miller, and then also she was in a special program for the Navy. She majored in engineering, and she was in a special program, and so they were paying her also. So she got, and then she was working, during the summer, so she had income coming in all different sorts of ways. And so, but there's ways to do it. And then they got some independent scholarships also in addition to that, besides athletics. So again, it's all depends on where you're at. The biggest thing is, have you filled out any scholarships at SCAD already?
No.
No. Have you looked at any of them?
No. When I was talking to this other at this other school, I was talking to one of the admissions advisors. We were talking about some, but I didn't look at any for SCAD.
Okay. So have you looked at any scholarships?
We did. Yeah, we did. We looked at some. We were looking at some, and there's one I think that's available to her that we need to start. My wife know more about it.
So have you filled any scholarships out at all?
No.
No. Okay. Let me ask you this: what do you want to major in?
I'm majoring in dramatic writing.
Dramatic writing. So what do you plan to do with that?
I plan to be a screenwriter.
Be a screenwriter? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Is the biggest question that I have for you, are you talking to your counselors? Are your counselors doing anything at the school with you?
Well, so I'm not allowed to talk to them yet because they're calling me down. They're doing all of the seniors in a row and they haven't got to my name yet. So they said I just have to wait for.
Oh man, no. So basically, and this continued. This even happened with my kids were a little bit different because I was a little bit more involved, and also because I was really heavily involved at the school, but also just because I do college planning. So basically, all the students that I interacted with, the counselors are not going to be able to help you that much. They should be able to, but they can't because the number of students outside of just working with the seniors trying to graduate and also help them with somewhat with college planning, but they have to do a bunch of other stuff. They got to deal with discipline and all the other stuff that's going on. So there's really no one there to really guide students to get to know what they want, where they need to get, and so so do you know how much SCAD costs?
Yes, it's about 50,000.
So you're looking at, I think it ended up, when I looked at the other day, you're looking at about $140,000 for 4 years, which is a significant amount of money. So one is one, I need to get your grades, and it probably is not possible, but I still want to look at it. And then also need to know what classes that you're taking, and then or plan to take next semester too, because we're going to try to calculate to see if you can qualify for Hope, but it's going to be pretty tough. But we'll look at that. So I think that's our first go around, because Hope is strictly, if you go to a Georgia school and you live in Georgia, you automatically get that scholarship if you meet the requirements. So we need to, that's be the first thing, because that's a significant amount of money that could be laid on the table as far as scholarships. So get that over to me as soon as you can, so I can look at that.
I think I already sent it.
Okay, great. So have you looked at any other schools besides SCAD?
I was, until I got accepted. And then I was just like, that was the school I wanted to go to anyway. So I was just like, well, since I got accepted there, I could stop applying to the other ones.
So why did you want to go there?
When my freshman year, I was looking at possible film schools and art schools, and it was on the list of one of the best, and it was in Georgia. And I just started doing workshops for there so I could prep myself for their portfolios and things, so I could get in there. And yeah, I just felt like it was a good fit, and I did a lot of research on it.
So are there any other, and that's why I want to have a preliminary meeting first. Is there any other schools I'm not familiar with the film industry. So are there any other schools in Georgia that offers film?
Yeah, there's Georgia State.
Okay.
That's the only one that's good in Georgia. But yeah, I just thought I would be more comfortable going to SCAD, because it was a art school instead of Georgia State being a school that has a whole bunch. I wanted it to be specific, I guess. Yeah.
So the two key things, here's my project, and again, it really comes down to, you and your parents as a final decision. I'm just here to guide you and your parents and coach you and give you what my thoughts are based upon my experiences and my research. So one is, right now you're not qualifying for the whole scholarship, which is a big component for a lot of students when, especially if they're staying in Georgia. But again, we're gonna see if we can do that. Second, you really haven't started off looking at, scholarships and applying for them. So one, it comes down to how much work do you want to put into this to get scholarships? And it could be, especially your senior year. That's why I prefer to work with students prior to their senior year, because their senior year can be very, very stressful, because you're trying to graduate and you got other things going on. So are you doing so you're working, right?
Oh, yes, working? I have a job.
So how many hours are you working during the week?
I think it's about 25.
So you working? Yes. You working during the school week and the weekends, or what's what your schedule?
I work Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
Okay, and then are you doing any other things besides just working? Is any other activities that you're working on? Any extracurricular activities?
No, I was going to, but then I was like, it was going to be a lot with the work, so I just started working.
Okay, have you done any other extra activities overall, since you've been in high school?
No.
So nothing. Okay, nothing at church or nothing in the community?
No.
Okay.
Did you Did you tell them about you were on the swim team?
That was for summer. That wasn't for high school.
No, but it's still she wasn't on the high school swim team. She was on the community swim team. And did you tell them about she did a bunch of workshops with SCAD. So she's been a part of
Yeah, I
SCAD.
said that.
Okay.
Okay. So what we need to do is we do need to put down, create like a mini resume. So what I want you to do is you got pencil and paper, or use your cell phone. How you keep track of notes? But I'm going to give you a couple assignments that's going to be important to help us out. So one of the things is I need you to just, and even in middle school, so anything that, including work, any activities, swimming, you're going to workshops, any workshops, I need you to list all of those, because we're going to create a mini resume or bio, because one of the things, some of the scholarships going to require essays. And so then you can include all that, but it's good to have that all in one place and just really brainstorm to make sure you got everything. So, and then you can send that over to me. Put down, what was that, what year was, like it was your 9th grade year in high school, or your 9th grade, or if it was a middle school, 6th or 7th, 8th grade. So we need to do that.
She also takes private lessons for cello. I don't know if that means anything. If we can use that on her.
Yeah, anything like that. If you got a music background, excellent. So one of the things is I'm very impressed with young people that are taking music, because one of the things is that they say the smartest people in the world, for the most part, are people that play an instrument. There's something that in the brain that causes them to be really, really bright. And so, there may be some things that we may be able to look at. But again, I'm glad that your dad is here to be able to get the brainstorming going. But anything, don't even if you think it's minor, don't think of it that way. Write it down, and so we can have a complete list. So there's two factors that we have. Is one is SCAD it's expensive. And so it comes down to, because we're kind of late in the game to a degree, and I'm just honest and upfront, it's not too late, but that's a lot of money to try to get scholarships. So to get scholarship, it takes work, a lot of work. But the key is, if that doesn't happen, then it comes down to taking out loans. And that could be very, very expensive. And I'm not too big on loans personally, because one is, once you come out of college, you have to pay on those loans, and it could be either taxing on you, it could be taxing on your parents, or a combination of both. And we'll do a calculation at the next time we meet. We'll do a calculation so you can see how much money that you're talking about. And give you a good example. $140,000, probably, was it some parts in Georgia, depending on the area, you could buy a house for that kind of money. Okay. And that's something that you pay for 30 years. So one is we got to put together a strategy. Again, if you don't get any scholarships, what impact does that have? You get some scholarships, what impact does that have? And then naturally, if you get a full ride, then you're in good shape. But to get a full ride, it's going to be a lot of work, because one, we have to look at the scholarships that SCAD has. Most of those scholarships is based upon either merit. So that's, again, merit is going to, kind of based upon, what your family's financial situation. then the other one's gonna be on academics. You're probably, now let's say got some special scholarships, you're probably not, and again, we have to look, because I'm not as familiar with SCAD, but we got to look at, what scholarships are out there based upon the requirements, and do you meet those requirements based upon your grade point average? That's going to be the key. So we got that, and that'd be really our first step that we need to look at. We need to look at, okay, based on your grade point average, what scholarships do you have available at SCAD, and then what are the deadlines? And that's the other key part of all this, is knowing if you qualify, and then what the deadlines are. Because if you miss a deadline, they're not going to accept it. If they say you need to have the application at 11:30 on a Friday, and you go 11:31, you're out. Okay, so it's very, very key that we meet deadlines. Now, there are some scholarships out there that are independent that you're going to qualify for, but again, it's going to come down, again, looking at those scholarships, and then also, filling out the application and make sure that you get, and that's where I'm here to help you navigate that. So we'll be putting together a list. And so are you really good with Excel?
No, I haven't used that before.
You haven't used it? Do you have Excel on your computer?
I think I could download it. Yeah, I have a Mac,
yes. So we need to get Excel, because that's going to be the best place to develop a spreadsheet and to keep track of what we'll do. We'll look at all the scholarships that you qualify for, put them in an Excel spreadsheet, put down the dollar amounts, put down the deadlines, give a brief description of what they're looking for, and then we prioritize that first based on deadline, because everything has to be deadline driven, because you don't want to miss a deadline. And then number two is then the dollar amount. So then what you want to do is say, okay, I met this deadline, then what's the highest dollar amount that I can qualify for? Okay. So let me share this with you right quick. I'm going to share my screen. Let me bring up my computer. I mean, not my computer, my website, just to give you some ideas. Okay, share. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go to my website. So one of the things that, and again, to show you, make sure I go to the right place, programs, training, college planning. So if you go to my website, which I'll send it to you. So if you go to programs and you go to training programs and you go to college planning, hold on for a second, I got to move this over there. I can't see the whole thing. Training, go to college program. My mouse is acting crazy. So first I want to just show you some of the students that I've worked with. And these are not all of them, these are just some of the key ones that I put out there. So this is the young lady that I helped her with her with her college planning. So she's right now, she's working on her PhD. Okay, this is another young man. I've been working with him for, since he was in middle school. Now he's he graduated from college, and now he's in the military. Matter of fact, he's over in Korea. So that's one of my students did very, very, very well. My athletes, no, that's my 9. Hold on for a second. So these are my student athletes. So this is the one that just graduated from, just graduated last year. Now she's at Kennesaw State. She's a freshman at Kennesaw State. basically a full ride. He's the one student athlete that actually got accepted to 30 schools. He's he decided to go to Georgia Southern. She's she's an athlete, and the interesting thing, all of them had, besides just being athletes, like I think she had like a 3.5, 3.6. He had like a 3.8. She's 2 years now. She's in her second year. Again, her parents contacted me at the last minute. Matter of fact, Eric, this is Sharon's niece, Sharon Wheeler.
Yeah.
This is her niece. So she's at
Kennesaw?
No, West Georgia.
Oh, okay.
She really wanted to go to West Georgia. And I can't remember what her grade point average is. This is one of my other student athletes, but he didn't go on the student athlete side. He went on the academic side. He's actually at Georgia State, doing extremely well. I gotta fix this picture, but she went to school in North Carolina, and then he's in a master's program, Harris, up at, I think it's Boston College, and then she's over at Stillman, and then she went to Vanderbilt. She graduated from Vanderbilt last year, and then this is my daughter that graduated from Georgia Tech. This is my other daughter that graduated from UGA, and this is one of my other student athletes that graduated from Missouri. I think it's University of Missouri, and then she graduated from Paige graduated from Jackson State. So these are most of the kids that keep in contact with me. But like I said, I get hundreds, and then like I'll send you the video of the one young man that got the $200,000 scholarship. But anyway, one of the areas that's on my website for college planning is that I also have a list of scholarships. So I'll send you the link to that. So I got different, things that you can look at. But part of this, it can be overwhelming. So we got to get organized. So one of the key things is it's been organized. And that's what I find with a lot of students that I work with, is that they're not organized and they get sidetracked. And so my goal is again, I'm your accountability coach. I can't make any decisions for you and your parents. That's something that you guys are going to have to do. But my role is one, to give you advice, tell you what I think, and then once the decision is made, to try to hold you accountable as much as I can. But again, even with that, I can't control that. So if we set up a meeting and you don't show up, I can't control that. Or if you don't want to meet with me, I can't control that either. And matter of fact, I've got more, I said, if more on the student side, saying, hey, where before I used to, try to follow up, and I stopped doing that. I said, now it's at a point where you got to want to have it, and it's one of those things is that it comes down to the money. Either it's going to either come out of somebody else's pocket, whether it be a college or whether it be a scholarship, or it's going to come out of you and your parents' pocket. And so it comes down to how much of that do you want? And again, it all comes down to, are you going to put in the work? But there's actually $1.5 million. I mean, there's 1.5 million scholarships out there worth about 3.5 billion. So there's money out there for you. But again, it's just filling out the applications and making sure that you get everything done and that you're doing everything they're asking you to do in the scholarship. Okay. So right now, I'm not really in what I call a panic stage, but we are in a critical stage because we only got 2 months for this year. And then, you got next semester, which is going to get really busy trying to get ready for graduation and also trying to do this and also work. So you can take a scan of some of this. I'm just going to click on one of these just to give you an example. So here's a scholarship list. Or we got some scholarship lists. So if you come down here, if you scroll down, I got a bunch of scholarships that I've listed. These are just some of them. So one of the things is with scholarships, like, are you left-handed?
No.
If you were left-handed like I am, this scholarship's available for left-handers. So one of the things too is that we want to look at, one of the reasons why I want you to list everything as far as, and what your interests are. So the other thing, I need you to list down what are some of your interests, because again, there may be scholarships out there that meets that. There's all kinds of weird stuff out there. Like I said, the biggest one that I would think about, because I'm left-handed, that there's a scholarship only for left-handers. There's essay scholarships. So again, so you're a writer, so you're good at writing. So one of the things that we may want to look at also, because a lot of students don't complete the essays. So one of the things that we need to develop is a template of just a general essay, and then you can modify your essays to meet the requirement. So you write one generic essay, because again, we want to use time to our advantage. So you write one generic resume. We get that nailed down where, where you feel comfortable with it, your parents feel comfortable with it, and I feel comfortable with it. And then we say, okay, now let's start applying for the essay. Because all you got to do is based on what you put in that essay. But then again, if we need to modify, tweak something here or there, because they may ask something a little bit different in another essay, then we can tweak a little bit, but you don't have to start rewriting everything over and over and over again. You don't want to do that. You don't have to. So again, like I said, there's tons, there's scholarships for people that under 3.0. So that's one of the things that we may want to look at. If we can't get your grade point average above 3.0, then we need to look at, okay, what's 3.0 and below? And do searches on that. And like you can see, like, I guess some of them might have the deadline. Some of these I didn't put the deadline, but some might put the deadlines. So again, you can see that, like, this scholarship, the deadline was February 16th. But I was sharing with your dad, I think it was yesterday or the day before. I have a nephew, I'm not a nephew, I have a cousin that I've been working with over the last 5 or 6 years, and he's a senior this year. He's already been applying for scholarships. And so his dad just sent me the other day a link to one of the scholarships that he's in the running. Nobody can apply for now because it's shut down, but it gives him a full ride. And he's looking at Harvard, Yale, Brown, all these Ivy League schools. But he's probably going to get it because he's in the top, and he's majoring in neuroscience. But he started working on that. I started talking to him 2 years ago about scholarships. And so he put together his list, for this year. He got ahead of schedule and found, okay, what scholarships are available for even before school even started, and then start working that list. And so there's some scholarships that we've already missed the deadline because we haven't started it. Now, I don't want you to get overwhelmed. I don't want you to get excited about this. I just have to be honest with you, let you know that, hey, there's work to be done. And then, so the key comes down to, one is, you say that you want to graduate with money in your pocket. Are you willing to put the work in?
Yes.
And then we're gonna need your parents. So has anybody talked to you about FAFSA?
Yes.
So have you guys start working?
I haven't done it yet, but I know it opened at the beginning of October.
So we gotta look at FAFSA. We need to get that done. And so one thing I share with your dad, I have somebody that can work with us that's a FAFSA expert. So one of the things with FAFSA can be tricky to a degree, especially when it comes down to what they're asking for the parents compared to what they're asking for the kids. And if you put the wrong information, you could potentially lose thousands of dollars. So one of the things is that I really highly suggest that we get in contact with my FAFSA person to set up a meeting for you guys to, go ahead for us to get that started. Because again, the sooner that we get that out of the way, because FAFSA is a long application, bam, that's done. And then we can find out, again, from a FAFSA standpoint, what do you qualify for based upon income?
Yeah, just send me the information, and then my wife we can set up a meeting with them.
Okay. Well, normally what I do, I normally set the initial meeting, so I'll find out what her schedule is, and I'll get with you guys, and I'll set the whole meeting up, because I like to be a part of the first initial meeting, or so I can pass it on to make sure that everybody realize what the objective is. But yeah, I'll get that, I'll talk to her, and then find out when we can meet in the next week or two. But we really want to jump on fast. That's one of the biggest things that, especially in our community, we don't jump on that FAFSA. And that is key, because that tells the school where you're at financially, and also that tells you and your parents where you're at. And also that helps me out a little bit, as far as, okay, how much money, do we have to actually go after? Also, because there may be some grants that you may be able to qualify, but we're not going to know that until you actually fill out FAFSA. And like I said, the key is really making sure that you fill it out right. Number two is, so you've been accepted to SCAD. So you giving them, so you taking the SAT and the ACT?
I did take it because I was gonna prepare to send it, but they changed this year. You didn't have to do it because of COVID.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So one of the things, what I advise, and even though it's not a requirement, I suggest that you take it. So we need to look at which one you want to take, because again, you want, if you do really, really, high on it, then we may want to submit that. One of the things is when scholarships can be competitive. So again, what sets you apart from everybody else? So if nobody's filling out the SAT and the ACT for the most part, but you do, and then you submit it because you got a high score, that may give you an advantage. The other thing is, depending on what the score is. So one of the things that I suggest doing the pre-test first to find out how well you're doing, and then both my daughters, they did pretty good on I can't remember which one they took, but also I put them in a prep course to get their score up even higher. Because again, what the colleges look at, even though they're not making that requirement, they still look at, especially back then, they were looking at, okay, who has the highest score. So one thing.
You take the SAT already, or the SAT?
Yeah, I took the PSAT my previous years, but October 2nd, I took the SAT just to see where I was.
So we need to get that.
Yeah.
So we need to get that.
I got 10, so 1,000.
1,000 and what? You went out. I don't know what happened. I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
You got 1,010.
So can you send me that? Do you have access to send that to me?
Jada. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah. So you get access to that and get that over to me?
Okay.
So is the school year with your classes, are they pretty, because now I'm looking at time. So is the school year right now, are your classes pretty, because I know you got the one AP class, is that pretty aggressive as far as your time? Are you spending a lot of time on classes?
I mean, not a huge amount of time. Like, it's not psychology. it's not like the hardest AP class. So I'm, yeah, I do have to study more because I'm not that well at it. And so it does take some time, but it isn't like really, it's not a lot of time taken away.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So we're coming to a close. So the biggest thing is, again, it comes down to your commitment. It comes down to your parents' commitment. And I'm willing to work with you and want to work with you. But you have to dictate, or, how much time do you want to spend at this to go after the money? And so it comes down, how much are you willing to do that? One of the things that, and I'll give you a couple of good examples, and it all comes down to decision making, and again, but it comes down to time. So one of the things is that my oldest daughter, when she was in high school, she was a star track runner at the high school. Man, one time she was #1 in the nation in the 100 and the 200 meters, and then also on the 440 relay. So when we got to the high school, there was some controversy with the track team about, athletes were getting injured. So they brought in new coaches. And so I said, you know what, I'll monitor it for a year, but if I don't like what I see, I would take my daughter out off the track team. And everybody thought that I was crazy when I said that. And they didn't think I was serious. My daughter didn't think I was serious. And so the coaches, in my opinion, were crazy, after that 1 year. So I said, you know what? I'm taking her off the track team. And they said, well, she's not going to get any scholarships because you took her off the track team. I said, no, because she can, a little bit different, for track, because I said she can run at the collegiate level for some meets. And so all it came down to, we just had to make sure that we're keeping track of her times. And we had a club coach. So her club coach was making sure that she was getting trained. Okay. People are still mad at me even 7 years later, because they said that I cost them, the school, a state championship for track. But I had to put my priorities, say, okay, what was more important for my daughter to win a state championship or get a full ride or almost a full ride to college? What was most important? I chose, because I said, the coach is not going to give us any money. The principal is not going to give me any money. Her friends that are on the track team, they're not going to give us any money. The parents who were mad at me, they're not going to give us any money. So I said, why should I jeopardize my family's financial, and her financial situation just for her to get a state championship? Because it's all about, I want her to be able to go to school, get a full ride, and hopefully, like I said, she did graduate money in her pocket. So she didn't run, she wasn't happy, but she didn't run at the high school level after her second year. Okay. Now she looks back and she realized that was the best thing that could ever happen to her. She's not pleased that she didn't win a state championship, but she look at all of her friends now, they got that old money and got college loans, and they're having to pay now. Okay. My youngest daughter, she was a track athlete, star athlete. And she said, Daddy, I don't want to run track anymore, and I want to play basketball. And I said, are you freaking crazy? I said, we got scholarships in line, for you to get scholarships in track, and you want to play basketball? And, and basketball is really competitive. And this was going into a high school year. And so we fought, for about 2 or 3 months. And finally, you guys are a different generation. So I said, you know what? Okay, I'll make a deal with you. I give up because I can't continue fighting with you. My blood pressure is rushing up. I said, okay, the deal is I'll do everything possible that I can to prepare you for basketball, but I can't make any guarantee. So if for some reason you don't get a basketball scholarship, You're on your own. I'm not signing any papers saying take out a loan. Not doing it, you know. And so because basketball, you know, like I said, highly competitive nationwide, you know, and also she was not, although she was a star, she had been become a star basketball player at Chamblee, we did not play AAU. And so most of the college coaches, you know, they look at the basketball players at AAU stood at the high school. So she didn't get, she had one particular college that was looking at her, but her high school coach messed up because she couldn't remember the coach that called him. So he never passed that information on to us. So she didn't get any offers at all for basketball. So we had to go on the road. And I actually, let me show you this. So again, we may or may not have to do this, but let me show you this before I share the rest of her story. I got to go back to the website. I got to go back to the internet rather. That's not that. Sorry, that's not what I want. Hit the wrong button. Sorry. But I'm going to show you what we had to do for her. Trying to see where. Hold on for a second. I gotta get this. Make sure we got. Okay, there we go. So this is her website that we had to develop. What happened? Stop sharing. I don't know why that didn't come up. Okay, this is our website that we have to develop, for her. And we had to take this on the road. So this is her. And then we had, so we put her to transcript. Now she had like a 4.1 or 4.2 grade point average. She had a lot of stuff going on. When you look at her profile, she had a 4.2 grade point average. The ACT was 227. You know, she had Spanish and German. She had internships. So these are a list of all the things that, you know, her accomplishments. Okay. So we, you know, we put, we had to put together, you know, about her, you know, we downloaded her, she had a resume. So I put together a resume for her. And then we had our academics. Again, we had our transcript. We had the colleges that were interested in her. We had an athletic side. So we had all the stuff about her that, you know, they were tracking. We had a community service, also that she was involved in the community service. So it took a lot of work. So what ended up happening was that we went on the road. So knocking on college campuses to talk to the coaches. So one of the colleges was in great school, loved the school, but they didn't have a major. So I said, why would you go to a college that doesn't have your major just to play basketball? That doesn't make sense to me. Then we went to another school. They had a major, but it really wasn't a great school. I said, why would you want to go there? So you're going to go to a great school, but you're not going to get a job because, you know, it's not that really of a great school. And then we went over to a private school over in Alabama that was off the chain. And so, you know, because, you know, but it was, she couldn't get an athletic scholarship because it was a D3 school. So all she could get was an academic scholarship. So they said, well, we'll give you $20,000 a year for her from an academic standpoint. So that was $80,000. So she got excited. I said, ho. what is the cost of attendance? So cost of attendance is not only tuition, but tuition, books, room and board, and also transporting back home and all that. So when it came down to that, it was like $40,000 a year. So I said, so you're gonna go over there and play basketball and spend an extra $20,000 a year, so that's $80,000. Plus, they didn't have her major. So she was only gonna be able to play basketball for 3 years. Then she was gonna have to, they had an agreement with Duke, and then she's gonna have to transfer Duke, and it was a 5-year program. So I said, so you're gonna owe $100,000. It doesn't make sense to me. I said, what I would do is, it's up to you. What I would do is, I would, go to UGA, because you already got the Zell Miller Scholarship. You got some other scholarships. Play intermittent basketball. But before that, try for the basketball team. Try to do a walk-on. She didn't want to do that first. Then finally, when she started looking at that numbers and looking at that, she's going to have to pay $100,000 in loans. And so I'm going to tie her up for like 10, 15, 20 years in paying back a loan. She decided to go to UJ. She did a walk-on to get on the basketball team. Now, that's rare. For that to happen. She was very, very blessed for her to be a walk-on. That's to walk on to the University of Georgia is almost impossible. But those kind of decisions that we had to make. The one young lady, Wheeler, when I talked to her parents, she played basketball and she ran track. And she got injured her junior year. And so her numbers, I can't remember what her numbers were, but anyway, I did a whole analysis looking at track, looking at basketball, looking at her academics. And then we looked at all the different schools that she was interested in. I said, hey, at this point, I'm gonna be real with you. So my kids followed my lead. They weren't happy, but they did it. Wheeler was a little bit different. I shared the same story. I said, hey, what I would do is that I would give up basketball. You got a better chance of getting a scholarship in track than you do in basketball from all the research I had done on it. But, the pressure was on her by the school, by the coaches, because she was a key player on the team. So she decided to be on the basketball team and do track. The other thing was, I suggested, because she was heavily involved at her church, I said, give up any church work that you're doing so you can work on your scholarships. And also she was doing some stuff at the school. I said, you got to give up something because you're super busy. And she decided not to do all that. She was stressed out. She did end up, like I said, getting quite a bit of money. I don't think she got a full ride, but she had, but it was frustrating for her. It was stressful because she had a lot going on. So again, I'm sharing those stories with you because it really comes down to decision making, and are you willing to put in the time, and what do you want to what do you want to do? But the end result, whatever, it really comes down to, you have to live with the results of at the end of the day. And like I said, I'm not big on students having a lot of money come, especially today. This pandemic is a game changer. We don't know what careers are going to look like in the future. The film industry, we need to do some more research on that. And I know they have some challenges. I know they're trying to make a comeback big time, but it's been a challenge because of the pandemic. So I would, pursue your dream, but also I would not want to have a lot of debt. That would be that, I want to go to a good school, but I don't want to have a good debt. So the other things come down. That's why I asked you, are there other schools besides SCAD? If you don't get the money, and I just, again, I'm realistic. If you don't get enough money, are you willing to take out the loan? And that's something that junior parents have to decide and let me know. Or are you willing to say, okay, I'm willing to look at another alternative? Now, if you're looking at, hey, we need to look at another alternative also, then we can do both. Now, the other thing, have you committed to SCAD?
Yes.
Also,
I'm saving up now to pay for my admissions, but I know I'm going there.
Okay, so you're gonna go there.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say you're paying for admission, so tuition, so you're saying that you're gonna have. So let me bring up SCAD for a second. Hold on for a second, so we can look at that, and then we'll get ready to end in a minute. So we know that we are stuck with SCAD, which is fine. And I did start looking at the scholarship. That's one of the reasons why cost of attendance. Okay, hold on for a second, coming back.
So one of the things that we have a savings. We rather not go into that. That's why we're going for the scholarships. So that's why we encourage her to go ahead. Since she wanted to go to SCAD, and she's been doing workshops and working with them, we encourage her to go ahead and kind of pursue that. Last resort would be for us paying for it, and I don't want to do that. But okay. That's just to kind of give you an idea of.
Okay, and that's a good position to be in. Some parents are not in that situation, so that's why I like to ask the question, because right now you're looking at $38,000 total. That's the cost of attendance per year. That's because are you looking at staying on campus?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're looking at right here that's that number 38,000. So that's what you got to work for every the whole So you're looking at taking $38,000 times 4 years. Okay, so with us knowing that makes it a lot easier to saying, hey, you know what? If we don't get the scholarship because I'm committed to SCAD, one, we got the money to cover that, which is great, So again, that solves a lot right there. But again, now it just really comes down to, do you want to, looking at that from the money standpoint, since you know that you kind of got everything covered, are you really willing to work, to get the scholarships? So let me do one more thing because I want to look at SCAD scholarships. I did look at that too the other day. So you just get a quick look at that. So one thing, they're talking about FAFSA. So like I said, we definitely want to go ahead and get FAFSA done. And so right here, you see that they got a code for SCAD, for SCAD. So, so we need to have that, right there. But, they got all different types of scholarships available. So it really comes down to, looking at those, like they got the educator scholarship, the student employment scholarship, and they got different alternatives. So we really need to start looking at, that whole list of where they're at. And let's see, I want to do for entering students. So we want to do entering students. So here's what they have. They have the academic scholarship, which is between 1,500 and 12,000. So that's an academic. So you got, they didn't put down all the total eligibility, but what we want to do is we want to find what is the eligibility for that particular scholarship and what is the deadline. Then they got the achievement one, which is from 1,000 to 7,500. Again, that's for achievements. So again, that's where that list goes back to talk about, okay, what are the things that you've achieved? Then they get the May and Paul Potter Scholarship, which is a full tuition, but that's for superior academic achievement. So you're probably not going to qualify for that one. Then they got this other one, must demonstrate, again, another one for artistic. So if you're really artistic, you know, but this is superior, that's the possibility. So how do you feel artistically? How do you feel about, you know, that? How would you rate yourself?
I think I'm really good at screenwriting, but I'm also like getting help, more help that I think I need. So yeah, but I think I'm really good at it.
So we need to look at what the requirements for that, because that one, that may be a possibility. And that's a full ride.
She may be able to use her work from NYU that she's doing now.
Yeah.
She may be able to use that to help.
Absolutely. And that's why I say, that's why we got to list everything. We can't leave anything out, you know, the potential to look at these scholarships. So this is the big one that we need to flag. Is we need to go into more detail to find out a little bit more, you know, a little bit more about that one. Then you got Hope, which right now you're not qualifying for Hope, and definitely you can't qualify for Zell Miller. Recognize achievements. So again, this must provide documentation of applicable achievements. Again, that's why we got to list all of that. So that's up to $1,500. The government honors program, you're probably not going to qualify that because you got to be part of the honors program. This other one varies. Must provide proof of being. I don't know if you have to look at that one. Know if you qualify that one. The International Baccalaureate Scholarship. That's if you're pursuing, you know, international program. So these other ones are international. You got the legacy must be dependent on SCAD alumni. So we may want to look. So you're not going to qualify for that one. Multicultural one. You're probably not going to qualify for that one. That one you're not going to qualify because you got to be a SCAD alumni. You got the other one again, come back to, so they have the endowed scholarship for Black students. So again, that's why I said, you got to look at your grade point average. And if we can get that up to 3.0, you'll qualify that. Must have a minimum 3.0 high school of GPA. But also you got to demonstrate financial needs. So you may not meet that because the other part of that, besides the 3.0, so if your parents are saying that they can, you know, and you guys can cover, you know, your scholarship, I mean, cover tuition, you're probably not going to qualify for that if you even got the 3.0 because they're going to look at financial need. And then the last one is Atlanta freshmen only, must have a minimum of 3.0. So this one that we may want, they don't tell what the dollar amount is. But again, if we can get that, your grade point average up to 3.0, you may qualify for that. So there's several different scholarships that they have available that, you know, we need to look at next time we meet, you know, whatever research you can do, and I'll do some research, but we need to look at the ones that you think that you can qualify for and then see, okay, and then like I said, look at, you know, do the research for, okay, what are the qualifications? Because you don't want to spend any time with something that you can't qualify for. And then the other thing is, once we get that done, you know, one of the things too that we can always, you know, do you have any of your, do you have a portfolio of your writing?
Yes.
So again, that's going to be to our advantage. I need to look at your portfolio, you know, just make sure it's, you know, it's in presentable form. But that's something that we may be able to talk to the admission. So I did have one student. It was unbelievable. I still today, I can't believe we were able to accomplish it. It's similar to SCAD, but it was not SCAD. It was the Atlanta Institute. and she really wanted to go there. She was like you, very artistic, but she had graduated, and her parents contacted me in July, and school was getting ready to start. And she said, you need to get our daughter into that school and also get her a scholarship. And I said, it's impossible. And her dad, which was a close friend of mine, said, no, you're not hearing me. We need to get into that school, and we need her those scholarships. So again, we didn't do the internet thing, but we put together a really nice portfolio, resume, and all that. And then I did have a contact over there where we went over there and we met with them, and and we just they said, well, we really don't have any money. He's like, no, we need to try to figure this out. But because she was so talented, they were able to go into an endowment, and she got a full ride. But that's rare.
Jeff, I'm
yes,
gonna
sir.
I'm gonna have to jump off the call.
Okay.
But just text me if you need anything else for me.
Okay.
And is it possible for you to send me this recording so my wife can look at it?
This recording, yeah.
Okay. So
and
she's gonna
go ahead. I'm sorry.
She's gonna want to hear everything that we said, and you know me trying to regurgitate everything, I'm gonna miss something.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this was helpful to you. Again, it really comes down to not just thinking of the work, but I do feel relieved that we do have a backup. So, because you guys can actually cover, you and her can cover it. So that
Okay.
but it really comes down to now, how much money do you want to go after? So we're gonna be wrapping up in a minute, Eric. So you go ahead and I'll send the recording. So,
right.
So we're getting ready to wrap up. Jada. So two things come down to: one, we got the scholarships for the undergrad for incoming freshmen. So are you willing to put in the work to look at those scholarships?
Yes.
Then number two is there's other independent scholarships out there. There could be tons of them. It all comes down to, are you willing to put in the time to look at those scholarships or not? So are you willing to look at some independent scholarships?
Yes, I have an account, both, Bold.org, where it has scholarships on there. I already have an account.
So one of the things is looking at, besides just having an account, now we need to look at, okay, which ones do you qualify for, and put them in a list. So your other assignment is to go ahead and download Excel. So I'll show you a spreadsheet that I've used with my other, you download, and I'll show you the spreadsheet that we'll need to fill out. You want to fill out as much because you've already, we don't have to worry about doing a college comparison. Since you're committed to SCAD, that makes the job a lot easier. With other students who are not committed to any colleges, so a lot of our time is looking at colleges. So we don't have to do that. Our focus really is looking at scholarships, but it's identifying which ones you qualify for, and then looking at the deadlines and looking at the dollar amount. So we do need to develop a spreadsheet for that. So your job is a little bit more easier compared to some of the other students that I worked with in the past, because you already made that commitment. So in closing, summarize what you think I need from you. You there? So Jada.
Sorry. Yes, sorry, you froze and I couldn't hear.
Okay. So summarize what you think. I don't know what's going on with the internet. So summarize what you think I need from you.
I think you need me to put in a lot of extra work so I could find as many scholarships and just see where I want to be for college and how hard I want to work, not necessarily need to work, but how much time I'm going to put in for finding scholarships and just maintaining my grades so I could get the best scholarships I can for as little time I can.
So, but what I'm looking for you for our next meeting though, besides that, I gave you some things I need from you.
Oh, you wanted me to do the FAFSA and download Excel.
Yep. So FAFSA, I'm going to work with you on that. So you don't have to worry about FAFSA right now. I'm going to, because I got to make a contact on that. But what I need you, so I need you to download Excel.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to send me I need you to send me your transcript.
Okay. Yeah, I think I emailed it already.
Oh, that's right. You did. That's right. Yeah, you emailed that. So we got one thing. So you did great. So you did one thing already we've already accomplished. Let me make sure I got it. That's big time, and I appreciate that. Yep, I got it. So I'll look at that. So I got assignment. So the big thing is download Excel. Number 2 is go back to the SCAD scholarships and just kind of identify based on what we know right now, which one you qualify for, and find out how much information you get about the scholarship. Because right now they just kind of give a generic. 2 is, or number 3 is, I need you to list every single activity that you've been involved with, whether it be work, whether it be playing an instrument, whether volunteering, whether taking that college course. I need all that information for both middle school and high school. And when we get all that, then we can start working on really looking at scholarships and looking at, again, and the key now is really looking at the list of your skills, the things that you're involved in, so we can identify what scholarships do you match up to. So when do you think you can give me the list of all the things that you've been involved in? When do you think you can get that?
Can you hear me?
Yep. So you would have mute. So one of the things I'm saying is, when do you think that you can get me the list of everything that you've been involved in? I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Not hear you. Wow, you can't hear me? Wow. I don't know what's going on. Let me call her. Can you hear me? No. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what's going on with Zoom, but anyway, we're wrapping up now. So one is, like I said, I need you to look at the scholarships for SCAD that you think you qualify for. Look at, so we can get some more details and look at deadlines. Need you to download Excel. And then number 3, which is really, really critical, is list everything that you've been involved in from middle school and high school, whether it be working, whether playing an instrument, the college course that you're taking, anything that you've been involved in, any volunteer work. I need you to get that list to me as soon as possible so we can match up in any of your interests, so we can match up the scholarship. We don't want to work on a scholarship that you're not going to qualify for. We want to work on a scholarship that you're going to qualify for because it's time. So, so when do you think you can give me the list?
I could see if I could do that today.
Okay. And if not, if you can get at least by next couple of days, that'd be great, because that helped me do some research. A lot of times what I do is sometimes when I can't sleep, I'll jump up, or sometimes I'm just laying down and I have my cell phone and I may start searching. And if I see something, we can talk about it. And then other things, when do you think you can download or make sure that you have Excel?
Oh, I just looked on my computer. I already have it.
Okay.
The Microsoft. So yeah.
Okay, so I'll look at a spreadsheet that we can use. Like I said, you're not going to be as complex, because a lot of it that with other students, I had to actually, we had to deal with the colleges, and researching the colleges can be time consuming. So our strictly focus is on the scholarships. And then you have to worry about admissions and any of that, because you got that taken care of. So when do you think the next time you want to meet?
I could do next Thursday.
Okay, next Thursday. Okay, that's great. What time?
We could do it at 4.
4. Okay. What is next Thursday? Is that, what day is that? You know what day that is? I think.
Let me see. It's the 4th.
Okay. Yeah, so we do that at 4. Now I push my other meeting back. So we'll meet for an hour. We won't stay alone. I was just trying to get to know you and find out where you're at. So we meet for next Thursday from 4 to 5. And then I have another meeting I was supposed to meet at 4:30. I'll push that back to 5:30 just to have a cushion. So I'll make that for 5:30 p.m. At least I hope I can. If not, can you, if not, I made to look at, because like I said, I got one student I'm supposed to meet with, and I got to meet with him because we're actually putting him in an investment class. We got him in an investment class and he's trying to get his stock. So if not, can you meet later on that day, that evening?
Yes.
Okay, I'll let you know. I got to just find out from his mom if I can push it back to 5:30 or not. If not, we'll just have, we may have to just switch some things around just a little bit. So, so this is good. So how do you feel about today's session?
I feel good.
Okay. And then I want you to think about everything, and then we could talk about more. So, okay, based upon a little bit more research, again, what is your time commitment? And the time commitment doesn't necessarily that we got to meet. It mean that, we give out we look at the assignments that you have, you work the assignments, then we just have, but sometimes we may only need to meet for 5 or 10 minutes so you kind of give me an update of where you're at. Okay. So really today was probably our longest meeting for the most part. Other months, is really, really you doing the work for the most part, but you're in really good shape. I'm proud of you, and it's an honor to be able to work with you.
Thank you.
Okay, you have a good day, and I'll send this over to you and your mom. You and your dad for the recording, so your mom can listen to it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks. You have a great one.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.